Okay, so friends, today is our 35th session on Srimad Bhagavatam, and Vinod ji is here with us to take us through today's session, and we're going to read the mantra. So, Shakuntala, you can.
Narayanam
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 Namaskritya
Namaskritya
Naram
Naram
Chev
Chaiva
Chaiva
Narottamam
Narottamam
Devim
Devim
Saraswatim
Saraswatim
Vyasam
Vyasam
Tato
Tato
Jayam
Jayam
Udirayet.
Udirayet.
The translation is, before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance onto the personality of Godhead Narayana, onto Nar Narayana, Rishi, the supermost human being, onto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and onto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
Am I audible?
Yes.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so today we will continue the teachings of Lord Kapila. I said Lord Chaitanya because in few days' time we have a Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day on the holy day, 3rd of March. So preparations are going on. So in my subconscious mind, Lord Chaitanya's name is there. So that's why I said Lord Chaitanya's. Lord Kapila's pastimes we are discussing. Now to recap, who can share with me who is Lord Kapila? What are his parents' names?
Devhuti and Kardam.
Can anyone share?
Yeah. Devhuti
Yes.
and Kardam
Yes.
Muni.
Correct. Absolutely right. Yes. So now the conversation is going on between Lord Kapila and Devahuti, his mother.
Yes.
So this part, it's very interesting for all of us to understand when we read this section of the Bhagavatam, the conversation between Lord Kapila and his mother Devahuti. It makes us understand that our Vedic culture, ancient time, it was so advanced. Now people, they say our society is very conservative, very orthodox, very traditional. Of course, traditional is there, but at the same time, it was very broad-minded. Otherwise, in today's society also, even if we speak of the Western world, where we think that people are more advanced, so this kind of conversation we cannot imagine between a mother and her son. Here, Kapila Muni, Lord Kapila is telling Devahuti what happens, how this living entity comes to this world and what happens in the womb. What happens to the living entity when the living being is in the womb of the mother. So this kind of education was given in Gurukul. So there was no hesitation, there was no reluctance, there was no reservation to share this sublime information with the young pupils, disciples. And they would know what is the Grihastha Ashram about, how one should live in the Grihastha Ashram, household life. So with that proper knowledge, when the person is equipped with the proper knowledge, then the Grihastha life can be very, very balanced, very satisfying, very fulfilling. Because they would keep in mind the both aspects, the material aspect and the spiritual aspect, right? So as long as we are in the material world, we can take advantage of the amenities or facilities provided by the Lord, but without forgetting what is the goal of the human life. So when we have that goal of human life in mind, then we would know what are our limitations, where to draw the line when we enjoy the amenities given in the material world. Otherwise, instead of satisfying the senses, we would start gratifying the senses. Right? There is difference between satisfying the senses and gratifying the senses. Gratification of the senses can become very sinful, and then that can be very binding. It can keep us bound in the material world, in the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. Right? Would someone now want to share anything you want to share at this point? What I said so far? The modern science, has discovered about the development of the embryo, the fetus in the womb, and that also because they have the scanning machines, ultrasound machines. From that, they can see what is happening. Right? In the ancient time, when the sages, rishis, they were compiling this information, they did not have any kind of such devices at their disposal. But because their consciousness was so refined, they were so pure, just by looking at the woman who was pregnant, they would know what is happening in the womb of that woman, pregnant woman. And in Charak Samhita, the development of the embryo, from embryo to fetus, from fetus to baby, then when the baby is ready to be delivered, all these, how that progression takes place within the womb of a pregnant woman, everything is very nicely explained, elaborately explained in Charak Samhita, month by month. And not only the physical development, but the psychological development also is nicely mentioned. So Kapila Muni is telling his mother, with the union of an egg and a sperm, the embryo is formed. Now I want to ask a question here. What time of the conception the soul enters into the body of the embryo or the fetus? What time? What time of pregnancy?
Generally, it is said 3 months.
Sorry?
I
read somewhere 3
I
months.
said generally it is said 3 months.
Yeah, I read somewhere it's 3 months. Yeah.
Somewhere it is said 2 to 3 months. But
Okay.
I mean,
That means at
Vinod
that time
ji,
the soul enters.
yeah, so Vinod ji, in my work, हम कहते हैं कि the soul for previous, even before entering the garbha, for about the 100 days before the soul has already mapped where it's going to go. 100 days prior to the conception. So
100 days prior to the conception?
100 days prior to the conception, it's called the golden 100 days. The soul has already decided that it's going to enter this particular garbha. And the entry of the soul, once the conception takes place between the embryo, once the embryo is formed, like the zygote is formed, the soul can enter at any time, according to me. I don't know what it's mentioned in the scripture, but through my work, I feel that the soul can enter at any time. It can enter at conception, it can enter after that also. I don't know. That is what my understanding is.
Okay. Anybody else wants to say anything? Anybody else wants to say anything?
Yeah, I've read somewhere 3 months, but I am not too sure of that. I've read somewhere. I don't even remember where I read it. 3rd month.
Varsha ji, you want to contribute something?
I have no idea, but I don't know. I somehow feel if it were to enter later, how would it grow? I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, if it enters later than, when, I mean, how would it grow? If there's no consciousness, how would it grow? So I don't know. I'm just logically thinking. I'm not sure of this. I've not heard anything, but this
Yeah,
is
your
my,
logic is right.
thank you.
Yes. Yeah, some people are putting their comments.
No, that's simple.
Oh, okay, okay,
Pranam.
okay,
Right.
okay. Yeah, so see, the thing is that one thing, what you said about, the preparation happens 100 days ago, or before, prior to the conception and all that. Yes, you're right in that sense. This is called Garbhodhan Samskar. So the preparation is to be done by the couple who want to start a family. It is, that cleansing part is to be
Correct.
observed so that good soul, the living being with a good consciousness, can enter into the womb of that woman. So for that, the preparation is done. And from Ayurvedic perspective, the preparation is recommended to be done for 6 weeks prior to making an attempt to start a family. So what happens, within those 6 weeks period, when both the man and woman, now here, it is very interesting point it's mentioned in the scriptures, even in Ayurveda also. It is said the husband and wife. It's not said any vaguely act like, man and woman. Husband and wife, they should prepare. That means the permission is given for procreation to a couple who is legitimately married, not otherwise. Now in Kali Yuga, now the things have changed a lot because people have become so degraded, their consciousness is so polluted, so contaminated. So things have changed a lot in the reverse direction. So in the scriptures, the permission is given to a couple who is married, husband and wife. They have to prepare so that their reproductive tissue is pure. So when the reproductive tissue is pure, the womb also is clean, then the good soul can be attracted. Good living being can be attracted into that womb. Nowadays, people, they don't even know what is Garbhodhan Samskar, right? In one of the sessions, I think it was Ayurvedic session, we were talking about this. I mentioned I come across quite a few clients, couples, and they say that the lady conceived, just it happened by accident. We didn't plan, but it happened by accident. So normally, the consequences of the accidents are not good, right? So it is said, for Garbhodhan Samskar, it is mentioned that, see, when we go to buy any utensil, any pot, which we are going to use in the kitchen at home, so we knock to check, the quality of the pot or the utensil, right? So many times we knock. In India, it's a very common practice. Amongst Indians, it's a common practice. They keep on knocking and what kind of sound uh, they hear. From that, they can judge, they can guess, what kind of quality is there. So now we are so careful to just buy a pot, a utensil, which we may use at home in the kitchen for maybe 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, even 30, 40 years. But a living being, who we are inviting in our family, who probably will live with us for the rest of our life. And we are so careless. What kind of person we are going to invite in our family? We are so careless about it. So slowly, this thing is reviving slowly. Fortunately, it is a very good sign that the science is reviving. Garbhodhan Samskar and all that. I come across even non-Indians. When I discuss with them, they want to follow the whole thing. They follow the procedure for 6 weeks, and they observe whatever things are to be observed during those 6 weeks, and they try to conceive, and the result is good. The forthcoming child is very healthy, and consciousness is quite good. So coming back to that point, the soul is already there in the sperm, right? Like very rightly what Varshaji said, Without that, the growth is not possible. Without the presence of the spirit, without the consciousness, the matter cannot grow. Matter cannot move. Some kind of energy is required from the living being, from the spirit soul, to make the matter move, to make the matter active, act in certain way. Otherwise, it's a lump of flesh, nothing else. It cannot grow on its own. If there is no consciousness, there is no spirit soul from where the consciousness comes. So the sperms also, they have the soul. Without that, the sperm cannot be motile. They cannot move. So when the sperm fertilizes the egg, the soul is already there. From the time of conception, the soul is already there. And because the soul is there, consciousness is there, the matter starts growing. From embryo, it grows to the fetus. From fetus, it goes to a baby, small baby in the womb. And that baby feels also everything what's happening inside. A very interesting point is that the formation of the heart happens earlier, but the desires which are there in the heart of that living being, which is growing in the womb of his mother, those desires start manifesting from the 5th month of the pregnancy. That's why in the scriptures and in Ayurveda that is mentioned, a pregnant woman from the 5th month, she's addressed as a person who has two hearts. Do hriday wali vyakti. The person has two hearts. So it is mentioned very elaborately in Ayurveda. From that 5th month onwards, the pregnant woman starts getting some desires or temptations or craving for eating or drinking certain things, food items, which she might not have conceived in her life before. So those desires, in Ayurveda it is said, those desires are not that woman's desires. Those desires manifest from the heart of the baby growing in the womb of the mother. And those desires should not be neglected. They should be attended to. If they are neglected, then the forthcoming child, the baby who's born, when that person grows up, that person becomes very self-centered, very greedy. That person has obsessive mentality. Everything the person wants to grab. Because when the person was growing in the womb of his mother, his desires or her desires were not fulfilled. See, this is the psychology part which is mentioned in our scriptures. How the baby grows psychologically. What happens at the psychological level? No ultrasound machine can detect what is happening at the psychological level of the child, at the mental level. Have you ever come across anybody saying that, from the device they can find out, what is happening to the baby, what's the thinking happening, what the baby is thinking in the womb? Has anyone come across any such information? Yes, no?
Not possible.
Right?
No.
So see, it is mentioned that the thing is that the significant part is such desires should never be neglected. If that woman, whatever craving, temptation, or desire she's getting, to eat or drink something, due to any reason, she's not able to have that. Maybe she doesn't like, or that is not available. Now, the solution is given. See, the practicality, the
Sir,
practical aspect.
hi,
Hello,
sir. I have few questions. Can I ask?
can I finish
I
first,
have
please?
few doubts. Oh, sure. Like around this only, the 5 months thing only. So, sure. Please,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So let me complete this part, then you can ask me. Yeah. So what I was saying that if that woman is not able to have that due to any reason, it is not available, she doesn't like. The practical aspect of our scriptures is that that woman should drink at least little warm water to pacify the desire of the baby in the womb, so that the baby gets pacified, satisfied. Okay, my desire is attended to. Because water has that ability to pacify that desire. Desire, is like a craving, temptation, is like fire. So fire can be pacified by water. So by drinking few sips of water, the desire can be pacified. And then that person will be quite balanced. Yes, now, Akanksha ji, you can go ahead now.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, I have two questions around it. So, first is you just said that it's 5 months when the baby in the womb gets sensations or get cravings or desires, right? I have seen a lot of mostly. I mean, I can quote that. I've seen a lot of Brahmins who are pure vegetarians, but then suddenly they crave to eat non-veg or egg or something related to non-veg. Is it good? Is it safe that if they break, I mean, their law of not having a non-veg and just because they are craving and they should eat that just because the baby is actually wanting that?
Yeah, so as I said, see, we need to find the balance. As I said, due to any reason, the woman is not having that, or she doesn't want to have it. So just drink water. Now, the principle should not be broken. Sometimes what happens, when that craving or temptation or desire is fulfilled, which is to be fulfilled. Now, using that excuse, some people start having it. So we need to kind of, focus on the basic principles, what we are supposed to follow. Now you're talking about the Brahmins, right? Brahmins are supposed to be vegetarians, right? So that means they should maintain the code of conduct according to the Brahminical culture. So if the craving is there, temptation is there, or desire is there, then the woman, instead of having that and breaking the code of conduct, not following the injunctions according to the Brahminical culture, that is not right. So she should just drink some water, and that also is enough.
Okay. And next is when the soul enters the body, right?
Hmm.
And how do we know that what would be the gender of the, I mean, I would say the soul that has entered the body? At what time the gender is identified?
At the
I'm
time of conception.
okay. It is pre-decided that this will be
Yes.
the gender of the. Okay.
Yeah, since you raised this point, I just would like to share with you a few case histories, because my specialty in Ayurveda is fertility. By Krishna's mercy, I have helped many couples to have babies. So when my female client, when she conceives, when she misses her periods for 2 to 3 weeks, then for follow-up sessions, she comes. When I check the pulse, on the pulse, by God's grace, I can tell her, it's go most probably. I say I'm not God, but after checking the pulse, I can tell, most probably this is going to be the gender of the child. And later on, when they go for ultrasound and all that, it is confirmed. The reason why it is possible to detect, to ascertain what the gender of the child would be, which is growing in the womb, from the pitta pulse. If the pulse is pitta, the pitta is strong in the pulse of the woman who has conceived. Pitta indicates the male gender. And if the kapha pulse is strong in that woman's body who is pregnant, then that indicates a female child. And this is science. It's not any mystical thing or any magic. It's a science. And later on,
Yeah.
after 4 or 5 months, when they go for ultrasound and all, it is confirmed that it's a male child or female child, whatever it is.
Okay, okay. Because I have heard like many doctors saying you should not. I mean, yeah, they doctors emphasize that you should, mother should uh, talk to the child. They should have this interaction. But I have seen many people. I mean, because if a mother would denote the kid as the child as he or she, but then they are not sure it's a girl or a boy, so they don't want to have this unborn child to develop some symptom. For example, if it's a girl and they keep telling "mera beta, mera bacha," and they don't want to develop those male qualities or
I
vice
understand.
versa.
I understand. Yes, yes. Yeah, actually, it's a logical thing to do, because uh, physical gender, if it is opposite to what the woman or the family members are thinking, and according to the thinking, whatever messages they are sending at a subtle level to the baby, then it can cause the kind of imbalance. No?
Yes, yes.
Now, when we strictly speak from the Ayurvedic perspective, there are guidelines given for couples to follow, and when they follow the guidelines according to the desire, according to what kind of gender of the child they want, and when they follow, then the possibility increases of having that particular gender of the child. So that also is very scientific. It is mentioned, that if they have their union at certain time during the month, then that union can increase the chances of having that particular gender of the child, whether it's a boy or a girl, what they want.
Yes, sir. Thank you for this clarity. Thank you for addressing my questions.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So can I ask a question, sir? With
Yes,
due
please.
respect. So can
Yes,
I ask
please.
a question? Yes, sir. Please,
Yes.
sir. Sir, thank you for नमस्कार सभी को।
नमस्कार।
सर, जैसे हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि जो आत्मा है वो गर्भ धारण के समय वहां उपस्थित होती है, और ऐसा नहीं है कि जो गर्भ धारण के बाद में 1 महीने बाद में 3 महीने बाद में एंट्री करती है। तो ये हमारा जो सपोजिशन था या एक फैक्ट जो हम स्क्रिप्चर से ले रहे हैं कि जो आत्मा है वो गर्भ धारण के समय उपस्थित होती है और उसकी उपस्थिति के बगैर कोई गर्भ धारण नहीं हो सकता। तो मेरा एक प्रश्न इस संदर्भ में सर है कि मंडल मिश्र और शंकराचार्य के बीच में एक बार शास्त्रार्थ हुआ और मंडल मिश्र हार गए शास्त्रार्थ में, क्योंकि ब्रह्म विषय पर चर्चा हुई। ये मैंने दृष्टांत सुना हुआ है और पढ़ा भी है मैंने। अब कितना सही है कितना गलत है इसके बारे में मुझे नहीं पता। तो मंडल मिश्र हार गए। तो मंडल मिश्र के हारने के बाद में उनकी पत्नी ने बोला कि मंडल मिश्र ही हारे हैं, अभी अभी उनकी जो अर्धांगिनी है, मतलब मैं अभी नहीं हारी हूं, जब तक आप मुझे नहीं हरा दोगे तब तक इस हार को नहीं माना जाएगा। तो उसमें अब शंकराचार्य जी उनकी पत्नी से शास्त्रार्थ करते हैं, तो वो ब्रह्म विषय पर चर्चा शुरू कर देते हैं। तो मंडल मिश्र की पत्नी कहती हैं कि विषय आप नहीं चुनोगे, विषय मैं चुनूंगी। तो उन्होंने कहा ठीक है चलो आप सुन लीजिए। तो उन्होंने कहा कि मुझे काम विषय पे चर्चा करनी है। तो अब क्योंकि शंकराचार्य जो थे वो जन्म से ही ब्रह्मचारी थे, उनको कोई अनुभव नहीं था, तो उन्होंने कहा देवी मैं तो काम विषय पे भी चर्चा नहीं कर सकता, तो उसके लिए मुझे आपको कुछ समय का वक्त देना पड़ेगा। तो ऐसा कहते हैं कि जो शंकराचार्य थे, आदि गुरु शंकराचार्य, जो प्रथम शंकराचार्य थे, कि उनको परकाया प्रवेश में सिद्धि प्राप्त थी। तो उन्होंने अपने शिष्यों से कहा कि भाई ये पता करो कि अभी वर्तमान में कोई ऐसा व्यक्ति जो मरा हो और काफी विलासी रहा हो और उसके पास में काफी साधन हो। तो उन्होंने कहा कि एक कश्मीर का राजा है जिसकी अभी भी मृत्यु हुई है। तो जो ये कथा कहती है कि शंकराचार्य जी ने उनके उस शरीर में प्रवेश कर लिया, एक कोई गुफा थी, उस गुफा में अपने शरीर को छोड़ दिया और अपने शिष्यों से कहा कि वो कुछ खास तरह का जप उस शरीर के पास में बैठकर करते रहें जब तक कि वो वापस ना आए, ताकि शरीर को पता नहीं चलना चाहिए कि जो आत्मा है उससे निकल चुकी है। तो ऐसा कहते हैं कि 6 महीने तक वो उस शरीर में रहे, राजा के, जो कश्मीर का राजा था, और उसके बाद में वो शरीर में प्रवेश किया और राजा के जो राजा था कश्मीर का, उसमें जो भी अनुभव उनको लेने थे काम से संबंधित, वो उनको अनुभव को लिया और जवाब देने के लिए वो आए। तो यहाँ प्रश्न इसी संदर्भ में आता है कि यदि आत्मा के बगैर शरीर जीवित नहीं रह सकता, सरवाइव नहीं कर सकता, तो उस समय जो 6 महीने का वक्त था जब उनकी चेतना या उनकी आत्मा कश्मीर के राजा के शरीर में रही, तो उनका शरीर कैसे जीवित रहा? तो क्या इसका मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि बॉडी की भी अपनी कॉन्शियसनेस होती है, बॉडी अपनी कॉन्शियसनेस के बेस पर भी सरवाइव कर सकती है?
Very, very good question. Thank you for asking this question. It's a very good question. And it involves some technical part from our Vedic perspective. How many of you have heard or read Satyanarayan Katha?
Sir, I have read.
So can you share with me what is in the 5th chapter of the Satyanarayan Katha?
सर मैं तो जो बुक में है वो पतली सी वही
हाँ
पढ़ती हूँ।
हाँ, तो उसमें क्या लिखा है पर आप प्लीज शेयर करेंगे?
तो दैट्स इन द फॉर्म ऑफ स्टोरी, जो सत्यनारायण कथा हम घर में पढ़ते हैं।
हाँ हाँ, तो वो मैं उसी के विषय में बोल रहा हूँ जो उसका जो 5वां अध्याय है कथा का, उस 5वें अध्याय में क्या वर्णन किया गया है? What is it mentioned in the 5th chapter of that katha?
इतना सीरियसली ध्यान ही नहीं देते. So
It
that
is
is
mentioned about one king, right? He had 100 sons, then he offended the cowherd community in the forest, and because of that arrogance, his sons died. Then he realized his mistake. He went back to that place when his prime minister told him that he had offended that deity who was being worshipped by those cowherd community. So maybe because of that anger, he lost his son. So he went back there and he got the prasad. He went back to his palace. He put a little bit of prasad, some grains, in the mouth of each of his sons. Then everybody became alive again. Their life was revived, right? Is that right?
Yeah, yes.
So now, how could that happen? See, when we just read these narrations, these kathas,
Tathas ji.
so which are compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva has compiled this information for us to learn something from these narrations from the scriptures. So this part I'm sharing with you, this part of this Satan Katha, which is from the Padma Purana, one section called Revakhand, right? So when we do not know the whole concept behind, the whole science, whole logic behind it, we may think that these are stories, these are superstitious stories. They are just written for us to. Some people may think just for passing out time, for entertainment and all that, but it is not right to think in that way. That's our misconception. Vyasadeva, the great sage, he would not do anything which is useless. He did not write the books on fiction. He compiled the information, he collected the information and put into the written form for people like us to learn something from this, right? So the logic behind, the science behind it, it is said at the time of death, the soul leaves the body. With the soul, the person's ego, person's intelligence, the mind, and the senses, they also leave. And we have 10 different types of air in our body. Did anyone hear about this before? We have 10 different types of air element in our body.
प्राण 10 तरह के प्राण होते हैं.
10 प्राणा.
10 प्राण होते हैं. 10 तरह के प्राण होते हैं.
5 primary and 5 secondary.
मतलब फॉरगेट उनका नाम ध्यान नहीं है, बट 10 तरह के प्राण होते हैं जो कि अलग अलग टाइम पे लीव करते हैं बॉडी को.
Correct. So main 5 one are prana vayu, apana vayu, samana vayu, udana vayu, and viyana vayu. Right? So one type of air is called dhananjaya vayu.
Which is the last one.
So when the body leaves, the soul leaves the body, when the person leaves the body with the ego, intelligence, mind, and the senses, 9 types of air also leave the body. But one type of air, the Dhananjaya air, Dhananjaya Vayu, still remains inside the body. Now it will be very surprising for you to hear this. The duration, the precise, specific time duration is also mentioned, that how long does it stay in the apparently dead body. Sorry? Anybody wants to say anything?
3-4 hours.
Sorry, Mataji?
3-4 hours.
3 hours 48 minutes. Very precise duration. So it is that within that period, if any organ is taken out from that person's body who has left, the diseased person's body, that organ can be used for somebody else. Like, people, they give donation, most of the people, they give the eyes, right? The heart also can be transplanted. Kidneys also can be transplanted like that from the dead person's body. Provided those organs which are to be reused for somebody else, living person's body, those organs are removed from the dead person's body within 3 hours 48 minutes. So now what you mentioned about, that how long was the duration? You said 6 months?
6 months.
Yeah. So see, the yogis, the sages, they had the power. to hold the air within the body for that long period. For normal people, that Dhananjaya Vayu stays within the dead body for 3 hours 48 minutes. Now the sages who can control the prana vayu within their body, not only for the hours, not for the days, for weeks, for months, for years. That's why they used to live for so long in the ancient time. The sages. Today also it is believed, and I'm saying that that belief is right. It's just bona fide. Many sages who come during the Kumbh Mela, they are more than 300 years old, because they know how to control the breath. Now people are becoming more and more short-lived. The span of life is reducing because of the shortness of the breath. Most of the people, they do not know how to breathe. Their breathing is very shallow. So they finish their quota of the breath very fast and they have to leave the body. So when we take a deep breath, we hold it for some time and do that practice regularly, then the span of life can be extended. So this is the logic behind. So now in this incident, you are saying that that person did not have any experience of Grihastha life, so he wanted to experience that before he could share that information with that woman, that sage's wife. So he did that. So that is one incident, one of the incidents. But if you see in the scriptures now here, when Kapila Muni, Lord Kapila, is sharing this information with his mother, Devahuti, he also was not married at that time. Right? Now, the information which is given in the scriptures, most of this information is written by the sages who are sannyasis. And they are given the instructions for the householders, for the grihasthas, how they should live their life in the grihasthashram without having experience of grihasthashram. Why were they able to do this? Because of their consciousness. It is not necessary for such people whose consciousness is so highly elevated to physically or mentally or emotionally experience those things, go through those experiences physically, emotionally, mentally. Without that, they cannot say no. They could just, from their consciousness, they could feel it, what's going to happen. And based on that, they've written the instructions for the grihasthas, for the householders, how they should live their life when they are married. Does it make sense what I'm saying? So the point I want to make here, to conclude what you said, what you asked, and what I said so far. So their consciousness was very advanced. So sage had that ability to allow that Dhananjaya Vayu to stay in the body so that, the soul can re-enter the body.
तो सर क्या धनंजय वायु का जो दूसरे बॉडी में प्रवेश किया होगा वहां हो सकता नहीं थी?
Sorry?
जो दूसरी बॉडी में प्रवेश किया
हाँ
तो धनंजय वायु की आवश्यकता वहां नहीं पड़ी होगी?
हाँ, ऑफ कोर्स
जो
वहां
राजा
पे
के
तो
शरीर में प्रवेश किया
वो तो जीवित है ना, वो तो व्यक्ति जीवित ही है ना.
ये वो मर चुका है, राजा मर चुका था.
ओके. हाँ, तो कितना समय हो गया राजा को मरे?
नहीं एग्जैक्टली अब देखो वो मैं तो कोई रिसर्च तो नहीं की इस पे, इट जस्ट अ स्टोरी, मतलब स्टोरी काफी डिटेल में लिखा हुआ था वो, लेकिन
हाँ.
उतना माइन्यूटली तो उसको नहीं देखा गया होगा. तो ये तो मैं नहीं कह सकता कि कितने टाइम वो रहा होगा.
See, these things were possible, when I was studying this yoga and Ayurveda, our guru used to share with us, and he said that with his eyes, this I'm talking about the current era, not the previous yoga. He said once he was in the forest, he was walking, he saw one old man, he fell down, and he saw there was a young body, dead body. That old man entered into the young body, then became alive again. So this हमारे गुरु ने अपनी आंखों से देखा वो दृश्य. So these abilities the sages had. Now one of the siddhis, it is one of the siddhis to read people's mind. The sages, one of the 8 siddhis, the person who has that siddhi, he can enter into the other person's body and can read the mind of the person. So these are called different siddhis. And these siddhis also anybody can have, anybody can acquire by proper practice, penance, austerity. In yoga, one of the postures, one of the asanas is called Siddhasana. And that's the topmost asana. So when the person does that Siddhasana regularly, slowly the ability comes. These kind of siddhis can be acquired. It's possible. But it requires long time practice. So the person can not only enter at the mental level in somebody's system, but physically also can enter inside and see what's happening.
Can I share one experience
Sure.
with my wife? एक्चुअली मैं मैम से हिप्नोसिस लर्न कर रहा था. मैंने 2 कोर्सेज मैडम के किए हैं. अर्लियर आई डिड नॉट बिलीव अबाउट दीज थिंग्स कि एक्चुअली होता है कि नहीं होता. आई वाज स्केप्टिक एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द चीज़ों के बारे में स्केप्टिक ही रहता हूँ. मैं स्केप्टिक से मतलब ये नहीं कि मैं तो ना तो यस कहता हूँ ना मैं यस नो कहता हूँ जब तक मैं इसको
Correct. हाँ.
समझ नहीं लेता हूँ. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि मैं डिनाई कर रहा हूँ और ये भी नहीं कह रहा मैं
Correct.
एक्सेप्ट कर रहा हूँ ना. तो हिप्नोसिस में अब जैसे मैं अपनी वाइफ को 6 बर्थ्स में उसके पिछले बर्थ में लेकर गया,
हम्म
उसने मुझे ऐसी ऐसी चीजें उसने बताई कि वो मैं उसको बिलीव भी नहीं कर पा रहा था. तो मैंने फिर एक चीज टेस्ट की उस पे
हम्म
जिसको मैं क्रॉस चेक कर सकता हूँ.
हम्म
तो मैंने क्या कि ठीक है हमारी बेटी पुणे में पोस्टेड है, पुणे में है वो, हम
हम्म
मेरठ में रहते हैं.
हम्म
पुणे यहाँ से 1200-1300 किलोमीटर दूर है यदि एयर डिस्टेंस की बात करेंगे हम. शायद
हम्म
1800-1900 किलोमीटर होगा. तो मैंने इसको हिप्नोसिस में ले जाकर डीप हिप्नोसिस में कि आपको बेटी की ऑफिस में जाना है.
हम्म
जैसे मैं 5 से 1 तक काउंट डाउन करूंगा, यू विल बी इन द ऑफिस ऑफ माई डॉटर.
हम्म
तो अब मुझे नहीं लगता है कि ऐसा होने वाला है. बट जैसे ही मैंने इसको किया तो
हम्म
उसने कहा कि हाँ मुझे ऑफिस दिख रहा है.
अच्छा. वेरी
ऑफिस
गुड.
दिख रहा है. तो ठीक है कि मैंने कहा बताइए ऑफिस में क्या हो रहा है. तो उसने कहा निहारिका जो है बेटी है वो बैठी हुई है टेबल पर, मतलब टेबल के
हम्म
सामने कंप्यूटर रखा हुआ है और काम कर रही है. और
हम्म
सामने उसकी एक लड़की खड़ी हुई है, उससे बात कर रही है झुककर. तो मैंने उसका
हाँ.
नाम बताइए लड़के का क्या नाम है. तो उसको नाम देखिए मेरी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कैसे बताना है. फिर मैंने उसको वही फिर मैंने थोड़ा डीपनिंग किया उसका. और फिर ठीक है फिर मैंने डीपनिंग के बाद में फिर मैंने उसे कहा कि जैसे भी 5 से 0 तक काउंट करूंगा आप उसका नाम आपको पता चल जाएगा.
हम्म
उसने फिर बता दिया कि उसका नाम है आयुषी. ठीक है.
हम्म
फिर मैंने उससे पूछा कि उससे बेटी ने कपड़े कैसे पहने हुए. तो उसने बताया कि पिंक कलर का टॉप पहना हुआ है और ब्लू कलर की जीन्स पहनी हुई है.
हम्म
कल क्लियरली विजिबल है या
हम्म
पिक्चर्स दिख रही हैं. कहना पिक्चर्स भी नहीं मोशंस भी दिख रही हैं, लोग चल
हम्म
रहे हैं बाकी कुछ
हम्म
वीडियो टाइप में विजुअल टाइप में.
हम्म
तो मैंने उसको नोट किया. खैर तुरंत आधे घंटे बाद में सेशन के बाद में मैंने बेटी से बात की. मैंने
हम्म
बेटा कहाँ हो आप निहारिका. उसने कहा पापा मैं अभी वापस आ रही हूँ अपने उस पे रूम पर फ्लैट पे. तो
हम्म
मैंने कहा आपने लास्ट टाइम अभी किससे बात कर रही थी. तो उसने कहा पापा आप क्यों पूछ रहे हो. मैंने वैसे ही पूछ रहा हूँ, मैं एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहा हूँ. उसे
हम्म
पता है कि मैं कुछ उल्टा सीधा एक्सपेरिमेंट करते रहता हूँ यूं ही.
हम्म
तो उसने कहा कि पापा मैं तो आयुषी से बात कर रही थी. मैंने सोचा कपड़े कैसे पहने हो आपने. तो उसने कहा कपड़े मैंने तो ब्लू जीन्स पहनी हुई और पिंक कलर का टॉप पहना हुआ है.
हाँ.
तो मैंने कहा "भी कमाल है, इसका मतलब कॉन्शियसनेस ट्रेवल कर सकती है."
Of course, of course, of course.
दूसरा एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल और, एक हमारा ब्रदर है, बहुत ही हार्ट फेल पेन था मेरा. वो मिसिंग था बहुत लंबे समय से. 2012 में मिस हो गया था वो. हमने बहुत जगह सर्च किया, सब कुछ किया जो हम कर सकते थे. 2-3 साल तक पागलों की तरह करते रहे हम लोग. तो
हम्म
मैंने वाइफ से भी फिर हिप्नोसिस में पूछा उससे कि क्या तुम्हें वो दिख रहा है भाई दिनेश. मैंने उसको ही प्रोसेस में लिया कि तो उसने कहा हाँ मुझे दिख रहा है वो. मैंने कहा है वो कि रिवर के ऊपर खड़ा हुआ है, किसी नदी के ऊपर खड़ा हुआ है और पुल पे खड़ा हुआ है.
हम्म
और जंप मारी उसने ऊपर से और पानी में कूद गया.
अच्छा.
उसके अंदर सुसाइडल टेंडेंसीज थी पहले से.
हम्म
तो मैंने कहा "उसे कोई बचाने नहीं आ रहा है. क्या नहीं बचाने नहीं आ रहा है कोई भी उसे, क्योंकि वो बहुत दूर मतलब बीच में है और वहां कोई भी इस समय नजर नहीं आ रहा है.
हम्म
तो फिर मुझे सेमी ट्रस्ट करना पड़ा कि शायद ये सही कह रही होगी. तो उसने जो मेरे लाइफ के साथ में जो उसका था उसके 3 बर्थ मेरे साथ में कॉमन थी जैसे उसने रिवील किया.
हम्म
लास्ट 2 बर्थ्स मतलब लास्ट 3 बर्थ्स, एक में
हम्म
वो मेल थी मेरा फ्रेंड और 2 में मेरी वाइफ थी.
अच्छा.
और जो लास्ट बर्थ थी उसमें उसका एक बार ड्रीम आया था. वो ड्रीम से मैंने ट्रेस किया पीछे एक तरह से बैक किया मैंने ड्रीम से कि ड्रीम में एंट्री करना है पहले। और ड्रीम क्या था, तो ड्रीम में क्या था, उसके पीछे लोग तलवार लेके भाग रहे हैं।
अच्छा।
1925, मतलब ये तो उसने बातें बताया, उस ड्रीम
हम्म,
दिखता तलवार लेके पीछे भाग रहे हैं, वो भागते जा रहे हैं। और वो कहती थी तुम भी साथ में हो मेरे। तो फिर मैंने उससे कहा कि ठीक है, जब मैं इस हिप्नोसिस में लेकर गया, तो फिर उसने सारी चीज रिवील करी कि हम एक सिख परिवार में थे। मतलब स्टेप बाय स्टेप मैंने सारी चीजें पूछी, तो मैं शॉर्ट में बता रहा हूँ मैं। उसका नाम सितारा कौर था, मेरा नाम कुलविंदर था, मैं उसका हस्बैंड नहीं था, मैं उसकी
अच्छा।
वाइफ सिस्टर का हस्बैंड था। और उसके
ओके।
ब्रदर की सिस्टर की, और उन दोनों की हत्या हो गई थी 1925 में, दिसंबर
हम्म,
1925 इसने बोला।
हम्म,
मतलब कुछ गुरदासपुर वगैरह कोई जगह थी। तो वहां से
हम्म,
हम लोग भागते भागते दो लोग बचे, और हम कहीं और जाके रह गए, रहने लगे छुप के। उसके बाद में हम कहीं और चले गए, और फिर शायद कोई तो थाने हमारे पास हम लोगों ने शादी कर ली।
हम्म, या,
तो फिर मैं उस
इंटरेस्टिंग।
लाइफ से करंट उसके यूट्रस में, मतलब मदर के साथ में किसकी, फिर दोबारा एंट्री कराया कि आपको मदर के वोम में जाना है। और फिर तुम्हारा फर्स्ट एक्सपीरियंस क्या है जब तुमने लाइफ में एंट्री की। तो उसने कहा कि मेरी जो वो है मदर, मतलब उन्होंने तो अच्छी से देखा, लेकिन जब बुआ थी उन्होंने कहा कि लड़की दोबारा लड़की हो गई।
हम्म।
तो उनका ये था, मतलब वो ट्रॉमा था उसके लिए, कि मुझे
हाँ,
खराब लगा। तो अब मुझे ये समझ में नहीं आता कि जो हमारे एक्सपीरियंस से जो पास्ट लाइफ रेग्रेशन थेरेपी के थ्रू इकट्ठे हो रहे हैं, और कुछ चीजें उसमें हमारी स्क्रिप्चर से वो टैली नहीं कर रही हैं। जैसे कि यही वाली बात कि कॉन्सियसनेस जो है वो एंट्री करती है। जैसे अभी इस वाइफ से पूछा था मैंने, उससे कहा कि 3 महीने बाद में एंट्री किया मैंने। स्टार्टिंग से लेके उसका आना जाना बॉडी में लगा रहा, उसका कहना था। मैं चेक करती रहती थी बॉडी को, बट कॉम्प्लीटली इनहेबिट नहीं किया बॉडी को। अब ये कितना सही है कितना गलत है, इट इज वेरी अनसर्टेन।
see, there are some kind of some information which, if we don't have the complete information or the complete understanding about the whole subject, then that can cause a bit of confusion. So for that reason, we need to understand at the deeper level. Now, with regard to the scriptures, see the scriptures which contain this information. As I said, these scriptures are not compiled by ordinary people. So when we read different scriptures, also sometimes on the same subject, the information which is given is different. But that information doesn't contradict. Scriptures don't contradict each other. They can supplement each other. They can complement each other. So for that reason, what you mentioned about the whole experience and all that, like the person who wants to enter and then doesn't want to enter, something like that, you said, right? So from this, we can understand why the miscarriages happen, right? When the soul is not willing to live
Yes.
that life,
Yeah.
then the soul leaves the
Discard the
womb
body,
of the
discards the
person.
body.
Many times it happens, the miscarriages happen without any apparent reason. ऐसे नहीं कि वो प्रेग्नेंट वुमन गिर गई,
कुछ फैसा
कोई
हुआ।
एक्सीडेंट हो गया,
जी।
all of a sudden miscarriage happened because the soul doesn't want, is not ready to have that experience. So leave that place.
मतलब
You know,
बीच
when
में
we when we grow up, we go to, and I mean, to buy a flat or something, apartment or a house. When we enter, we don't like, we just leave that, right? Immediately.
एग्जैक्टली।
Does make sense now? Yeah. So these are, it's very interesting point. Well, thank you for sharing your experiences and other people's experience in your life. I mean, in your family. So yes, these things are there. These things are there. This proves that the soul transmigrates from one body to
ट्रांसमाइग्रेट।
another.
यस।
What is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, that's the evidence you are sharing with us, right? So many people have these kind of experiences. So whatever is mentioned in the scriptures now, before people like you or Tripti ji or Varsha ji, you did not have this practice and you did not have this experience. People like you, and you don't share with other people. So other people will think, oh, this is all made up stories. What Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is a made up story. How can many people, they don't believe in reincarnation, right? There are many people in the world, around the world, they don't believe in reincarnation. They think this is the only life we have. So after that, only either we go to hell or heaven. That's it. So see, that kind of logic also can be easily refuted by another logical submission. If this is the only life, because many people, Orthodox Christians, they believe that reincarnation is not true. So we come to gain some experience and all that. We decide. Many people, they say, we decide to come to know. So if the decision, we have the authority to decide, if the decision is based on us, our desire, who in his right mind would decide to take birth in a poverty-stricken family or disabled body, unhealthy body? Who in his right mind would decide to have that kind of experience? So decision is not based on our desire. Decision is made by the higher authorities based on our karma. If we qualify to get that particular body, then that body will be given to us. In one of the sessions I had shared with you, people who attended, supposing the practical example, supposing a person who has the desire to have long hair on his head, on the skull, and having that strong desire, that person dies. Now that person's karma does not qualify him to be born again as a human being. But his desire can be fulfilled. Is to be fulfilled. So he'll get the form of a bhalu. Not only on the head, on the whole body he has the hair. So the desire is fulfilled. But because his karma did not qualify him to be born again as a human being, so he's born as a bear. Right? So the decision is made by the higher authorities, and they also decide based on our karmic account what kind of karma we have and what kind of body we deserve or we qualify to have. Only people who are really, really advanced, they can make the choice. Like many saintly people, they take birth, they come for some mission. They are on a mission. So to fulfill their mission, to accomplish, what they want to do in their life, so proper amenities are provided, proper things are provided according to what they require. So such people can make a choice. Ordinary people like us, we can't make a choice. We are sent to the families according to our karma, according to our karmic connection with the family members, the neighbors also. So whatever give and take, that account is to be finished with those people, then we are born around those people in that family. Ordinary people, they don't have that ability or authority to decide where they should be born or how they should be born, who should be their parents. Here, Varshaji, I'm not sure whether other people, they know the video you sent about Krishna.
No, I sent it to you only because I wanted to get the answers, because I know you have read the Bhagavatam. That's why I didn't send it to anyone. I wanted to get an answer from you first before I wanted to verify before I send it out to anybody, because I don't want to spread any misconceptions.
I understand. But because they don't know what is video about. So anyway, I will just briefly say, Varshaji shared with me one video earlier today. In that video shows, that Krishna, he was shot an arrow on his foot. A hunter shot an arrow in his foot, and because of that, see the words which are used in that video. Bhagwan ki mrityu ho gayi. Now the person who controls the Yamaraj, who is the controller of the Lord of the death, how can he die? First of that word is not appropriate. Bhagwan ki mrityu ho gayi. Bhagwan ne leela samapt kar di, then he left. So Pandavas also, the narration, I don't know from what's the source of that information, but actually what is mentioned in the Mahabharata and the Bhagavatam, when Krishna completed his mission, one of the main objectives was to appoint Maharaj Yudhishthir as the emperor of the earth planet. So when that mission was accomplished, he left. Before he left, all the Yaduvanshis, they left the planet. They fought with each other, they killed each other, and then they left. Right? So Krishna left the body, Balaram also left the body. They left because, first of all, we need to understand, when Krishna appears in this material world, He does not appear with the body like we have, the flesh, the Panchamahabhuta's body. No. He appears in the spiritual body. So spiritual body, Krishna himself says the spirit doesn't die. Correct? It doesn't grow. It doesn't grow old. So Krishna always remained very youthful. So he left the body. So Mrityu word is not appropriate. And then Pandavas did not rush to that forest and, then they cremated. It is mentioned that the body was cremated. There was no need for cremation of the body because Krishna's body was not there. It was not a Pancha Mahabhuta. Pancha Mahabhuta's body is to be cremated. But Krishna's body, even the saintly people, what to speak of Krishna? Even saintly people, when they leave the body, they are not cremated. Unki samadhi banai jati hai. Right? Because their body is pure. Their body is not like our body. Our body is contaminated. The contaminated bodies are to be cremated because air has purifying effect. But saintly people, their body is not contaminated. That's why they are not cremated. उनकी समाधि बनाई जाती है, फिर समाधि की पूजा भी होती है. Correct? So coming back to Krishna's part, so Krishna did not die, first of all. First of all, nobody dies because of, arrow being shot in the foot. Death cannot be caused because of that. So Krishna left. This was just an excuse Krishna manifested to bewilder people who are less intelligent. Less intelligent people will think, oh, Krishna, there is no difference between Krishna's body and my body. Even if my body is shot by any arrow or any bullet nowadays, my body will die. I will die, right? But Krishna's body is not like that. So to cause that bewilderment in the minds and the intelligence of people who do not deserve to understand Krishna as Krishna himself, Krishna's Leela, Krishna creates that curtain of that bewilderment. So let people think that Krishna also died like ordinary people. So the Pandavas did not find his body. Actually, in Mahabharata and in Bhagavatam, it is mentioned when Arjuna went to Dwarika and Krishna left. Arjuna also could not see how Krishna left. Though Arjuna was his dearmost friend, his cousin, his devotee, but still Krishna did not reveal to him when he left the planet. And when Arjuna realized Arjuna did not find Krishna, he lamented. Arjuna started getting the symptoms in his body that Krishna is no more there, because then Kali Yuga entered the material world. Then Arjuna brought all the queens, all the women from Dwarka to Hastinapur. So this is what it is mentioned. So cremation part is not mentioned anywhere, whether it is Mahabharata or Bhagavatam.
I can ask one thing. Sir, with your permission. Sir,
yes.
सर जितना भी हमारा बेसिकली जो ज्ञान है, ज्ञान बेसिकली दो तरह से हम इसको, जो मैंने थोड़ा सा दर्शन शास्त्र पढ़ा था कभी मैंने, ज्ञान को हम दो कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं, एक सापेक्ष ज्ञान और एक निरपेक्ष ज्ञान। सापेक्ष ज्ञान वो है जो हमारे अपनी इंद्रियों के थ्रू दिखाई देता है, महसूस होता है, और निरपेक्ष ज्ञान वो है जो कि इंद्रियों के बगैर, जहां हमारी इंद्रियां भी उसको मॉडिफाई नहीं कर सकती, जो विदाउट आवर फिजिकल बॉडी, विदाउट यूजिंग दिस एपेटाइज, जो हमें महसूस हो सकता है, वो शायद निरपेक्ष ज्ञान है। लेकिन जो बॉडी से महसूस होता है वो सापेक्ष ज्ञान है। अब फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जो मेरे लिए फूड है, मैं खाना खाता हूं, तो मैं उसको सपोज मैंने चावल खाए, मैंने सपोज दाल खाई, या मैंने कुछ और खाना खाया, या मैंने कोई मीठा खाना खाया, तो मेरा खाना जो मुझे जीभ तक महसूस होगा, जब तक जीभ में होगा, गले के जाते ही उसका कोई टेस्ट नहीं है, उसका जो मजा है सिर्फ गले तक है, जीभ तक है। लेकिन जो हमारी सेल्स हैं बॉडी की, बॉडी के लिए वो खाना नहीं है, बॉडी को उसको कन्वर्ट करना पड़ेगा अभी छोटे छोटे पार्ट्स के अंदर, और जो लास्ट में जो ग्लूकोज बचेगा वो बॉडी को एब्जॉर्ब करेगी, या कुछ के जो न्यूट्रिशियस एलिमेंट्स हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल विटामिन हैं, वो उसको एब्जॉर्ब करेगी। तो बॉडी के एंगल से जो चीज देखी गई है, तो वो सेल के लेवल पे जो चीज देखी गई है, वो सत्य अलग अलग सत्य हैं, हमारे बॉडी के लेवल का सत्य अलग है जीव के लेवल का, और जो सेल्स के लेवल का सत्य अलग है। एक दूसरा मैं एग्जाम्पल मैं इसमें देना चाहता हूं, जैसे हम सड़क पे मैं ड्राइव कर रहा हूं, तो ड्राइव करते समय सारी चीजें पीछे की तरफ भागती नजर आती हैं, और यदि कोई व्यक्ति इस चीज को ना ठीक से समझे तो उसे लगेगा नहीं नहीं चीजें पीछे की तरफ भाग रही हैं, लेकिन इनफैक्ट हो उल्टा रहा है, हम आगे की तरफ भाग रहे हैं। तो चीजें बहुत बार विपरीत नजर आती है। या जैसे कि मैं एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे क्रिश्चियनिटी ने ये मान लिया, मैं आई एम सॉरी यदि कोई सुन रहा है इस चीज को लेके, कि पृथ्वी जो है वो सूर्य पृथ्वी चारों तरफ घूमता है। लेकिन वो उल्टा हमें इसलिए महसूस होता है क्योंकि हम जिस पृथ्वी पे रहते हैं अपने आप को स्टेशनरी मानते हैं, और जो सूरज, हमने सूरज को हमेशा पूरब में उगते हुए और पश्चिम में छुपते हुए देखा है। तो हमें लगता है कि नहीं, पृथ्वी नहीं, सूरज चारों तरफ घूम रहा है। वो हमारी अपारेंट मोशन है, जो सूरज, पृथ्वी और सूरज की है, वो हमें दिख रही है, वो प्रतीत हो रही है। लेकिन एक्चुअल में जब लोगों ने देखा कि नहीं ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है, जिन्होंने बहुत ऊपर जाकर देखा या टेलीस्कोप बना के देखा या हमारे ऋषियों ने देखा, नहीं नहीं ऐसा नहीं, पृथ्वी बेसिकली घूम नहीं रही है, सूरज उसके चारों तरफ घूम रहा है। पृथ्वी रोटेट कर रही है बट रिवॉल्व नहीं कर रही है। सूरज उसके चारों तरफ नहीं घूम रहा, सॉरी, सूरज चारों तरफ नहीं घूम रहा, पृथ्वी चारों तरफ घूम रही है। ये हमें समझ में आया। तो हमारी दृष्टि से जब हम चीजों को देखते हैं तो वो सापेक्ष होती हैं। तो मैं, और जब उस अंदर की गहरी दृष्टि से देखते हैं, जो बिल्कुल अपरेटस को हटाकर देखते हैं, तो वो निरपेक्ष हो सकती है। तो ऐसे ही मैं कहना चाह रहा हूं कि जो हमारा ज्ञान है या जो कार्मिक सिद्धांत भी लिखे गए हैं, जिन लोगों ने, ऋषियों ने, मैं इन पे क्वेश्चन नहीं खड़ा कर रहा हूँ, आई एम नोबडी टू क्वेश्चन सच अ बिग थिंग, लेकिन मेरे मन में जो संदेह आता है मैं उसको व्यक्त कर ही देता हूं मैं। तो जो हमने ये क्वेश्चन, ये चीजें लिखी हैं कि ये कर्म का सिद्धांत इस तरह से काम करता है। और दूसरी, तो हम फिजिकल बॉडी, जो चीजों को हम एज्यूम कर रहे हैं कि जो घटनाएं हमें अच्छी घटी तो लगती हैं, वो हमें, वो सही है हमारे लिए, वो रिवार्ड है। और जो घटनाएं हमें दुख देती है वो हमारे लिए पनिशमेंट है। इस तरह से, दृष्टिकोण से देखते हैं। पर इसमें एक जो थ्योरी कहती है, जो मैं थोड़ा सा, मैंने समझा है, चीजों को समझने की कोशिश की, दूसरा दृष्टिकोण है कि बेसिकली सोल अपनी ग्रोथ के लिए तरह तरह के एक्सपीरियंसेस को चूज करती है। फिजिकल बॉडी को, तरह तरह की फिजिकल बॉडी एक्वायर करती है, और एक्वायर करके अपनी ग्रोथ करती है। तो पेन भी वो ग्रो करने के लिए ही करती है। तो जो हमारी आउटर पर्सनैलिटी के लिए पेन है या डेथ है, वो सोल के लिए डेथ नहीं है, वो सोल के लिए पेन नहीं है। सोल इज ऑल्सो ग्रोइंग आउट ऑफ दैट पेन, सोल हैज चूजन दैट। तो वो सोल का दृष्टिकोण निरपेक्ष हो सकता है, हमारा दृष्टिकोण सापेक्ष हो सकता है। तो दिस इज, मैं शायद मैं कह पाया अपनी बात को मैं।
Now, see, very long topic, if we discuss in detail, but very briefly, I will touch on these points. When we talk about acquiring knowledge, broadly speaking, there are two broad categories. One is called Shruti, and other is called Smruti. Correct? So that is at the broader level. But at our individual level, what you mentioned about Nirpeksh or Paripeksh, right? So these are our experiences. So some things, we personally experience, go through that, and then we form an opinion about that experience. That is like called praman, like evidence, right? Evidence based. And other is called anuman,
अनुमान,
hypothetical.
hypothetical.
Either hypothetical or based on other people's experiences. So the knowledge can be acquired in both ways. Either we go through personally an experience and form an opinion, or we accept the opinions of other senior people who already have gone through, right? So that is anuman. Correct? Now, when you mentioned about the nirpeksha pariksha, the concluding part, you mentioned the soul wants to experience that pain. So soul chooses that, right? In one way, yes, the choice is ours, right? What kind of action we should take, that choice is ours. Krishna has given us free will. Nobody forces us
Yes,
to do
exactly.
certain things, correct? So using the free will or misusing the free will, we do actions. So when we misuse the free will and act wrongly or do wrong actions, so pain will be there. But here also the tricky point is that we don't decide how much pain we want to experience. The pain, the proportion of the pain, the severity of the pain does not depend on our choice. Correct? For example, in our personal life, if we do some wrong act So today, we may feel some pain. Correct? We experience that pain. After some time, we do the same wrong action. The severity of the pain may be different. So how much pain we want to experience, that choice is not ours. How much pain we will get, that choice is not ours. Am I making sense here?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, but the action which can cause pain, which can cause misery, that action we can choose. We can choose to act according to that, misusing our free will, or using our free will, we decide we don't want to do that. Because that awareness is there. If I do this wrong thing, the consequences will not be good. So the previous experiences can help us to make the right choice. Previous bad experiences to make the right choice. I don't want to do it. Right? So ultimately, our authority, what is in our hand, is the action what we take. But the reaction is not in our hand. When we are hungry, we eat food. And very rightly you said, the satisfaction is felt only at the tongue level. The message from the taste buds goes to the brain, we get satisfaction. Right? The belly doesn't get that satisfaction. Belly is just only filled. The stomach is only filled by the food, what we eat, what we consume. Now, whatever food, whatever the quantum of the food, whatever quantity of the food we consume, eating part is in our control. Digestion is not in our control. How much we can digest, and after digestion also, different tissues are made. Plasma, blood, muscles, fat, bones, bone marrow, etc. How much proportion of those tissues are made, that also is not in our control. Am I making sense here?
Definitely.
Yeah. So it's a very long topic. Thank you for bringing up these points. Very interesting topics. We can see from this, we can understand our Vedic culture is so deep, so vast. Everything is mentioned in our Vedic culture, Vedic literature. Only that we need to make an attempt to read these things. Not only read, we need to study. Then, we need to digest. We need to absorb that knowledge. Then, people who are from different backgrounds, when they come in front of us and tell us, our Vedic culture is obsolete, is old, is regressive, we can immediately defeat that person. Right?
Right.
The sages, many times I've said that in our sessions also, the sages, they were more scientific than today's scientists. They were more advanced than today's scientists. So for that reason also, to have that material knowledge also, material information also, the information about the material subjects also, it is better to read the scriptures. So much of knowledge is there. So much of knowledge is there.
विनोद जी,
क्वेश्चन है नॉलेज का।
विनोद जी, मुझे एक ख्याल आ रहा है
हाँ,
कि
बोलिए।
जो स्पर्म और ओवा है, बिफोर इट बिगिंस टू यूनाइट, उनके अंदर भी तो कहना चेतना है।
ऑफ कोर्स।
करेक्ट। तो करेक्ट, तो उनके अंदर की जो चेतना है, व्हेन इट कंबाइंस टू फॉर्म ए जाइगोट, वो चेतना जाइगोट में चली जाएगी। मतलब पार्ट ऑफ इट विल ऑब्वियसली स्टार्ट गेटिंग इनटू द जाइगोट। करेक्ट। तो क्या ये संभव है, जो भी आपने बताया, क्या ये संभव है कि बिकॉज ऑफ द कॉन्शियसनेस ऑफ द स्पर्म एंड द ओवा यूनाइटिंग टुगेदर, द इनिशियल वीक्स ऑफ ग्रोथ स्टार्ट टू टेक प्लेस? मतलब मैं ऐसे ध्यान आ रहा है मुझे कि जब स्पर्म और ओवा में भी कॉन्शियसनेस है, चेतना है, तो जब वो यूनाइट होगी तो जो कंबाइंड कॉन्शियसनेस है, दैट कैन मोटिवेट द जाइगोट टू ग्रो। मतलब जो सेल्स है, जो मल्टीप्लाई होने वाले हैं सेल्स, that will get the zygote to grow, to
Yes.
form the body.
Yes.
So मेरा क्वेश्चन दिमाग में ये आ रहा है कि is it not possible that the consciousness of the baby is there, but it is not entered that growing body still?
It is still checking.
Yeah, it is there. It is
It
definitely
is there,
there.
just checking whether
But
to grow.
maybe
Yes.
because जैसे आपने अभी explain किया कि हो सकता है कि the soul decides to leave the body, मतलब about miscarriage हो जाए, तो हो सकता है कि the consciousness is not yet completely sure, तो जो चेतना स्पर्म और ओवा की है वो काफी है उस बॉडी को ग्रो करने के लिए, मतलब मल्टीप्लाई करने के लिए. मतलब एक थॉट आ रहा है, बिकॉज हम जो काम कर रहे हैं उसमें मैंने कई बार देखा है कि लोग ये बोलते हैं, जैसे अभी इन्होंने भी बताया ना, राजेंद्र जी ने, तो मेनी पीपल टेल मी कि मैं हूं वहां पर, मैंने डिसाइड कर लिया कि यही मेरे पेरेंट्स हैं, पर क्योंकि वो लोग अभी सशक्त नहीं है, या वो लोग क्वेश्चन कर रहे कि यार हम क्या अच्छे माता पिता बनेंगे कि नहीं, या कैन फाइनेंशियल कंस्ट्रेंट्स है हमें, मतलब सोल जो है वो सुन रहा है ये सब, एंड मे बी इट इज नॉट श्योर कि मुझे ये शरीर में पूरी तरह प्रवेश करना चाहिए कि नहीं. So it waits for not everybody, okay, but some
Yes, yes.
souls wait for a period of time when they feel that the parents are sure. Sometimes if the formation of the body is not taking place well, तो भी soul wait करता है कि whether it will enter the body or not. ये मैंने देखा हुआ है, कई लोग मुझे ये बोलते हैं. और दूसरी चीज मैं शेयर करना चाहूंगी, जब मैंने ये भी देखा है दैट जब कोई सोल एट द टाइम ऑफ कंसेप्शन एंटर होता है, ऐसे स्पर्म ओवा यूनाइट हुए और कंसेप्शन के टाइम पे ही सोल इज एंटर्ड दैट फॉर्मिंग बॉडी, ओके, फीटस, तो मैंने देखा है कि इन लोगों की अटैचमेंट अपने माता पिता से बहुत ज्यादा होती है, और जब सोल थोड़ा डीले होके एंटर करता है तो उन लोगों की अटैचमेंट अपने माता पिता के साथ कम होती है. आई मीन दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग आज जो बातें हो रही है, और थैंक यू राजेंद्र, व्हाट वंडरफुल शेयरिंग यू हैव डन. बट ये मेरे मन में, क्योंकि मैं जो भी आप बता रहे हैं ना स्क्रिप्चर्स से, वो मैच करना चाहती हूँ कि वेदर जो मैं देख रही हूँ या जो मेरे पेशेंट्स एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं हमारे, ऑब्वियसली इट हैज टू मैच द स्क्रिप्चर्स, ऐसा हो नहीं सकता कि मैच नहीं हो. तो मैं सेंस करना चाहती हूँ कि ये जो है कि सोल इमीडिएटली एंटर करता है, क्योंकि मैंने बहुत टाइम देखा है विनोद जी कि देयर आर केसेस जहां पर लड़की इतनी ज्यादा अटैच्ड है अपने पेरेंट्स से, और उनकी लाइफ ऐसी है कि वो बार बार अपने माता पिता के घर जाना, हस्बैंड से डिवोर्स लेके फिर माता पिता की केयर करना, फिर माता पिता, आई मीन देयर आर सर्टेन पीपल जो इतनी ज्यादा अटैच, एंड देन व्हेन आई आस्क देम दैट व्हेन डिड यू एंटर द वूम्ब, दे विल से इमीडिएटली एट कंसेप्शन. तो ये जो लाइफ है ना, इन लोगों की लाइफ वो वैसी होती है. और कई लोग, मैंने कई केसेस ऐसे देखे विनोद जी, द सोल इज अराउंड इन द वूम्ब, बट इट इज नॉट इन द बॉडी, इट इज सपोर्टिंग द ग्रोथ ऑफ द बॉडी. ग्रोथ सपोर्ट कर रहा है वो, ओके, इट इज एबल टू फील द बॉडी ग्रोइंग, ऑल दैट इट इज डूइंग, बट it enters the body when it is completely sure. ये कई लोग जो सिक्योर्ड नहीं होते, डाउटिंग नेचर जिनका बहुत ज्यादा होता है, उनका मैंने देखा है कि दे वेट, दे आर देयर बट दे डोंट कंप्लीटली एंटर.
yes.
तो ये मतलब मैं समझना चाहती हूँ आपसे स्क्रिप्चरली ऑल्सो कि ये जो हम एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे पेशेंट्स के द्वारा, ये मैं कुछ और आपसे मतलब आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस स्क्रिप्चरली.
Very good, interesting point you raise, Prithvi ji. Now, first of all, when we talk about the consciousness, at the time of physical union between husband and wife, the woman's consciousness has more impact on the forthcoming child.
Okay.
If you have read in Mahabharata, when Vyasadeva, he was invited by his mother, Satyavati, to sow the seeds in the womb of Ambika and Ambalika, two queens. So they were wives of Vichitravirya, who was brother of Vyasadeva. So Vichitravirya, without begetting any child, he died.
Correct.
So at that time, the arrangement in the society was such: either any other family member, that means the brother-in-law, any of the brothers-in-law of those women whose husband passed away, can sow the seed, or any brahmana could go and sow the seed in the womb of that woman who lost her husband. So Vyasadeva, he was the older brother of Vishutravirya and also a brahmana. So Satyavati invited him to sow the seed in the womb of Ambika and Ambalika. So when Vyasadeva, he came from the forest, he was doing austerity. So he told his mother Satyavati that for women, more than the character of the man who's going to sow the seed in the womb, physical appearance is more important. So I'm not looking so attractive at this point. I'm just coming from the forest. So give me some time to make myself, my body attractive, so that that queen welcomes me lovingly, affectionately. So Satyavati said she did not have time to wait. She immediately told him to go and approach Ambika. And she informed Ambika that Vyasadeva would go in her chamber in the evening to sow the seed. Now the condition also was such, the arrangement was made in such a way that whoever was going to sow the seed in the womb of that widow, he should smear the ghee, apply the ghee on his body. Because ghee pacifies the pitta. Pitta causes passion. Passion means, lust. So that person should not go with the lusty desire to sow the seed in the womb of that woman. The objective should be only to sow the seed, not to enjoy the senses. See the arrangement made at that time. That means people's consciousness was so pure. They would just focus on the objective, not just to gratify the senses. The men would not go to sow the seed in the widow's womb with the lusty desire. So to smear the ghee. So when he went there, when Ambika saw, because complexion of Vyasadeva was a bit dark, that's why he was known as Krishna Dvipayam. When he was born, he was dark skin. Krishna means dark skin. So she closed her eyes. She could not see that form. She could not see Vyasadeva in that form. So Vyasadeva, because he had to fulfill the desire of his mother, Satyavati, he sowed the seed in. And when he came out from the chamber, Satyavati asked him what happened. So he told her that, because I told you to wait for some time and your daughter-in-law was not ready to see me in that form. She immediately closed her eyes. So because of that consciousness, she closed the eyes. The result was Dhritarashtra was born, who was blind. Blind, not only physically he was blind, but intellectually also he was blind. Because Ambika also intellectually, she could not rationalize that what was the purpose of Vyasadeva approaching her. So that means intellectually also she shut herself down. And that's why Dhritarashtra was like that. He could not make proper decision as the king or the representative of the king. He always was very greedy, very partial towards his sons. And he was very kind of unfair towards the sons of his younger brother, Pandavas. So that was the result, because her consciousness was also like that. Then the other queen, the younger, Ambalika. So Satyavati said, the blind person cannot lead the country, cannot become the king. So then she persuaded Vyasadeva to go and sow the seed in the Ambalika's womb. So Vyasadeva did that. So when he went there in the chamber of Ambalika, the other queen, Vichitravirya's second wife, so she did not close her eyes, but she became very pale. She became so anxious and pale. Her body became pale. That's why the child who was born, his name was Pandu. His complexion was very yellow, pale. Jaundice in Ayurveda is called Pandu Rog. That means, the person who has Pandu, the jaundice, Pandu Rog, his eyes also become very yellow, right? So that Pandu was born. That means he was not so healthy. He had liver complications. So the point I want to make here, that the woman who conceives, her consciousness is more important. More than the seed, the soil has the effect. Like you mentioned about, the soul moving around in the womb, not entering the womb and all that. That also is possible. Like, practically we have experienced. Why do we have dreams?
True.
At that time, our consciousness is leaving the body, right? Going somewhere else.
True.
Then again coming back.
True.
Because the body is useful for us. Correct?
Correct.
That's a practical example I can share with you.
Yes, of course. Swapna sthiti.
Right?
Yeah.
So now the decision also, you said that some souls, they decide to leave. They don't want to stay in that womb. Now, the miscarriages happen not only, the miscarriage is not caused because of the desire of the soul or the living being growing in the womb or the mother, but there are different factors also. What kind of karmic connection the person has, right? If that, again, I would emphasize on this point, if the choice, the decision was only the solely of that soul's decision, when the living being sees the limbs are not properly formed, disabled body, the person can make the decision, I don't want to live in this body, I want to leave, right? But he's not the only person who can decide that.
True.
His karma, if he has to go through that experience because of his previous bad karma, even though he may have that desire, he may have that choice he want to make, I want to leave the body, he cannot do that.
Yeah.
He's born in that deformed body.
Absolutely.
Does it make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Vinodji.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask one thing. In our family, one incident happened. Initially, in the second month, when that lady, she went to doctor to ultrasound, every heartbeat was there, everything was there. But in third month, miscarriage happened. And when she went to the doctor told her कि after कि आपका जो 7 mm का ग्रोथ है उसके बाद कोई ग्रोथ ही नहीं हुआ. और अल्ट्रासाउंड में हार्ट बीट एवरीथिंग वाज देयर इन द सेकंड मंथ, बट इन थर्ड मंथ मिसकैरेज हैपेंड और उन्होंने बताया कि उसके बाद ग्रोथ ही नहीं हुआ आपका. सो दे वर इन शॉक एंड बहुत दुखी थे, बट वो डॉक्टर्स के पास भी कोई रीजन नहीं था उसका. दे वर अनेबल टू से एनीथिंग. वो कहते कि हो जाता है, शायद ग्रोथ नहीं हुई, इस वजह से हो गया. सो जो बच्चे थे, जो भी बच्चे हैं, द यंग किड्स, तो नाउ दे आर इनटू फियर कि नेक्स्ट टाइम भी ऐसा ना हो जाए हमारे साथ. तो नाउ दे आर स्केयर टू टेक द स्टेप.
Yeah. So see, of course, these kind of things happen.
जी.
In I think when we had the session purely on Ayurveda, I shared this experience. This happened in our family. My uncle.
Okay.
My father had 3 brothers, one older brother, second was my father, and 2 younger brothers. So when my grandmother conceived with the third child, that means my uncle, younger brother of my father, third one, in the 7th month, during the 7th month, her belly became completely flat. And she said that she did not have any experience of miscarriage. Normally, in pregnancy, when woman has a miscarriage, Then she sees that. She said she doesn't feel that miscarriage. So my grandfather took her. These things were told by my mother to us. So my grandfather took her to see a doctor, medical doctor. Medical doctor checked and said, there is miscarriage. Then he gave some medicines to completely cleanse the uterus. He said, whatever flesh and everything is, dirty things should be cleansed. So my grandparents went back home. In the evening, fortunately, one of my grandfather's friends, he visited our family. And my grandfather told him, he said, don't rush to give that medicine. He advised my grandfather to go and see one Ayurvedic physician. He said, oh, Nadi Pariksha karega, he'll check the pulse and he will be able to tell you more detail. So next time my grandfather took my grandmother to see that Ayurvedic physician. So when Ayurvedic, that Vaidya, I normally don't like to address proper Ayurvedic professionals as doctors. They are Vaidyas. Vaidya is a wider term than the doctor. So anyway, so that Vaidya, when he checked the pulse, then he told my grandfather, the living being, the baby is there. Only the water in the womb is dried up. So he gave some medicine, some powders, and he told my grandfather to cook that powder to mix in the sweet rice. Rice cooked in the milk, cook the herbs in that. And from the new moon day to the 14th day, when the moon is increasing in size, Shukla Paksh, waxing moon nights, put that kheer with the herbs inside in a silver bowl, cover it with a cotton cloth, and put on a wooden plank and put on the rooftop so that the moon rays affect the porridge, the sweet rice porridge. And on the 15th day, Purnima, now that bowl of that porridge was to be kept from the moon rise to the moon set, to the sunrise. Before sunrise, it was to be taken out. Only the moon rays were supposed to have the influence on that. On Purnima day, that also very precise time was told for my grandmother to consume that. In the morning, during the Kapha time, between 6 and 10. Kapha dosha, according to Ayurveda, has nurturing effect. So she consumed that, and after she took it, within 2-3 days, my mother said, she became normal. Then she gave birth to my uncle. My uncle has children, grandchildren. Now, if they had followed, my grandfather had followed that medical doctor's advice and given her the medicines, that would have caused the abortion.
Amazing. So Vinodji, then it kind of affirms what I was saying कि consciousness जो है वो कई बार it hides itself. That's what happened, no, with this baby's consciousness. It possibly hid away till there was the right time for it to become visible. That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing, Vinodji. Thank you. It's really, really interesting.
See, this incident in our family, when I heard from my mother, I was, in higher secondary level. When I heard that kind of ignited that interest in my heart to learn Ayurveda.
Absolutely, yes.
Such a wonderful, wonderful, sublime science.
Wonderful, really wonderful, amazing.
तो सर जैसे ये बच्चे हैं दीज यंग जनरेशन जिनके साथ ये मिसहैप हुआ है सो हाउ शुड वी गाइड देम और सपोर्ट देम
First of all, you tell them, they should not keep that kind of negative thought in their mind. That the subsequent time when they try, it may happen. Because if you can explain to them from the karmic perspective also, that child's karma was like that. So you should not think that, every time it will happen like that. So if it happened, you paid off your karma, that account is finished, you start afresh.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens, because people, this is called vahem. Kind of that superstition thought, that it holds us back. It does not allow us to progress, to move forward.
But
so it happened. It was the karma. That karma finished.
Okay.
And
Like,
very,
practically also, when supposing somebody has a car, by mistake, sometimes he drives in such a way that he meets with an accident. So that person does not stop driving car again. He will get the car repaired, whatever the money insurance company has to pay, will collect the money, then will start driving again, right?
yeah.
If out of fear he stops driving car, that means, something is wrong with the person.
Karam, that's a very nice example जो
जी
आप दे
जी
सकते हैं, है ना?
जी जी थैंक यू सो मच सर
Very nice. Yeah.
So today's discussion has been very interesting. I can go on and on
Yeah, we can
discussing
go
these
on and
topics.
on listening to
Very
you,
interesting.
Vinodji. But
Sir, may I
Yeah,
ask
very
one
interesting.
question,
वेरी
sir?
इंटरेस्टिंग
Madam, can I ask one question?
We will
Okay, the
continue.
last question,
Srija,
please. Yes.
last question, and then we'll end, okay? Yeah, bol.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Sir, you were saying about this miscarriage, and I joined the session only by 7:30. So I would like to ask, sir, can you throw light to the matter regarding a miscarriage in the later stage of pregnancy, that is after 8 months or 9 months of pregnancy? If a miscarriage happens, what will be the reason, or how can it be described in the perspective of, or how can it be described in a spiritual manner?
Now, see, you said 8 month or ninth month actually is a proper time, appropriate time, mature time for delivery, right? So I don't think that miscarriage is the right word here. Even the 7th month also, we can say premature birth of a baby. Correct me if I'm wrong, Srijaji. Why you say it's miscarriage in the 8th month or 9th month?
Yeah, so that's right. Actually, it happened with my mother. Uh, Before my birth, there was a child with her, and in the 9th month, she lost that child. It was said she had a shock at that time, and after that, she lost the baby. So I would like to know about the spiritual aspect of that.
Yeah, so that means you are saying that, the baby was like, they say still baby, right? Still baby was born. It's not like miscarriage or something.
Yes,
Again,
yes,
it's still
yes.
baby. So see, from Ayurvedic perspective, if now I will tell you two things. One is the premature birth. The other is miscarriage, what you use the word. It is said that premature birth, if it happens in the 7th month and the 9th month, or 9th month actually is not premature, but early part of the 9th month, before completing all 36 weeks or 40 weeks. So that baby can still be okay. But if the birth takes place during the 8th month, then that baby's health cannot be so good, because 8th month is a time when the baby starts absorbing the ojas, vital substance from the mother. So if that baby is deprived of that ojas tattva, ojas element, the vitality, that baby's health can be always challenged. Now, when you say about the miscarriage or the still baby is born, that also can be connected due to the karma. Like you mentioned about shock, like your mother has a shock, and because of that, your sibling, supposed to be your sibling, was born in that way. So that shock had that effect. Now, this also will be very interesting for you to know that shock, the feeling at the subtle level, that agitates the vata dosha, the air element in the body. So when the pranavayu, which allows the living being, the baby in the womb, to survive, to grow, if that pranavayu is attacked because of the shock, person immediately leaves the body. So that's the reason it is said, not only the 8th month and 9th month, from the 7th month onwards, when the brain starts acting of the baby, the woman, the pregnant woman, people surrounding her, they have to be very, very careful what they speak to her, what she listens, what she eats, have to be very careful because the brain is already developed and it starts experiencing the feelings. The very famous incident in Mahabharata, Abhimanyu, he learned how to enter the Chakravyu when he was in the womb of Subhadra, his mother. Because Arjuna was telling his wife Subhadra how to enter into the Chakravyu. But by the time when Arjuna started explaining to her how to come out from the Chakravyu, Subhadra fell asleep. So Abhimanyu learned that martial arts, that part of martial arts, how to enter into the Chakravyu from his father when he was still in the womb of his mother. So these things are very nicely and very logically, very scientifically, sensibly explained in our scriptures. It is not only that modern science is so advanced, we are learning from modern scientists. I'm not trying to minimize here demean the modern science. It has its own significance, own place in this modern life. But we need to maximize the benefits of both sides, learn from the modern science and also preserve our Vedic culture and acquire knowledge from that Vedic culture.
What you explained at present, what is the difference between the air we breathe and prana? Is it the property of air that is being manifested in the body, or something else?
In the broader term, prana means the energy. That's the energy in the broader term. But when we talk from the precise perspective, prana vayu, which resides in the chest region, that's the life force that allows us to breathe in and out. That governs the functioning of our lungs and the heart. So that's the life force, prana vayu. But overall, in the broader term, when we use prana, even in the food item, has from prana, has some energy. So when the food item which is positive prana, good prana, it will have nourishing effect on our body. When the food item has very negative prana, that will have damaging effect on our body cells. One of the ways, just since you raised this point, I want to share with you, one of the ways in which we can ascertain whether the food item has a positive prana or negative prana, you tie a rudraksh bead in a string and hold that string over the food item. If that rudraksh goes in the circular form clockwise, so that food item has positive prana. If it goes anti-clockwise, it has negative prana.
Thank you, sir.
So this is one of the way it is mentioned how to ascertain whether the food item has positive prana, whether it will nourish us or it will damage us.
And one
Now,
last question, can I ask? Okay.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Yes.
No, you were telling something. I'll just...
No, that will be in the concluding parts. You go ahead first.
No, actually, I joined late, sir. Basically, when the miscarriage or something is destined for a lady, it is based on the karma. The soul chooses the mother where that karma, I mean, even she will be having that thing to happen. So is it something like that? So
Yeah.
because I joined late, I think I missed something. So I just wanted to know, because that runanubandha, whatever is there, so the soul chooses the mother also, which means maybe due to the karmic thing, she has to face that. So it is something like that which is destined, which happens. So I just wanted to know a little bit about that.
Yes. So main factor which causes that kind of situation is the karma, both sides. The baby's karma, the fetus karma, and the parents' karma.
Okay. So that is the runanubandha, what they had, and some short period it had to be like it was destined, and it will just come and just it will go off as the soul goes away.
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So to conclude that part, when we were talking about Krishna, what that video clip Varshaji shared with me, kindly she shared with me. So I want to conclude that part because we did not finish the whole thing. So there was some energy, that spiritual force which Krishna left behind. So just to understand that, what kind of force is that, the essence of that energy, the spiritual power Krishna left behind, that is preserved. So to understand, to give proper understanding to people, they say it's a heart of Krishna. So that resides, that heart is still there in the deity of Sri Jagannath. In the Puri, that Jagannath famous temple, Jagannath Puri temple, so that Jagannath's deity, that heart is there, that energy, essence of that Krishna, when Krishna left the planet. So I think every 18 years or something, during particular nakshatra, they change, because the deities are made from specific type of tree, the wood from those trees. So when that wooden form is to be changed. So see, this also is very unique feature of that Jagannath Puri temple. There are specific pujaris who are responsible for transferring that heart, we call it heart just for understanding, that heart from the previous deity, and they put into the new deity. So when they do that, they do it in the dark room, blindfolding their eyes. Because this is Chetana, the consciousness. So consciousness does not necessarily need the vision. It can be experienced, it can be felt, right? Consciousness. So with blindfolded eyes in the dark room, they transfer that consciousness, that heart, whatever you want to call, for the easy understanding, we say heart, from that deity, and they put into the new deity. So this is what it is explained in the Mahabharata and the Bhagavatam. That is the way Jagannath, the deity, is worshipped. Because there is no difference between the deity of Jagannath, Sri Jagannath, and Krishna himself. Is Krishna himself live there. And that's why they said, one has to be very, very careful when we go to have darshan of Jagannath Puri, Jagannath deity there in Puri. We have to be very careful what kind of thought process we have in our mind. Because Krishna is present there, not only in that deity, wherever we go in the deity form. These are not idols, just statues. These are the forms, extended forms of Krishna himself, or whichever Vishnu Tattva we talk about, Ram, Shiva. So these deities, because Pran Pratishtha is done. Pran Pratishtha means the consciousness is brought into that deity. And that's why the deity becomes very powerful. So this is what I wanted to conclude with. Varshali, are you okay with that? Are you still there?
Yes, I'm right here. So absolutely, but that's what I wanted to understand, that whether, because I've not read the Bhagavatam, so and it was the first time I've heard anything like this. So I just wanted to make sure whether it is true or not true. I just wanted to verify. That's why I asked you that question.
Yeah. So as I said, that Krishna, first of all, the word death is not appropriate. And cremation also is not required because Krishna did not have that body. Yes, of course, just to share with you, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Krishna saw that Arjuna was not fighting diligently as a Kshatriya, after giving him so much knowledge also, see, from this we can understand our conditioning can be so strong. And because of that strong conditioning, even though we may have the knowledge, but to implement the knowledge, it's not so easy. To act according to that knowledge is not easy because our conditioning holds us back. So Arjuna was not fighting. But then Arjuna got angry also when he saw when Bhishma Dev was shooting airs and they were piercing the chest of Krishna and it was bleeding. So the question arises, if Krishna did not have the material body like we have, which is made up of these different tissues, blood, muscles, fat and all that, then how come Krishna's body was bleeding? So this also was Krishna's trick to bewilder people, to make them feel that Krishna's body also is like our body, there's no difference. Only people who are qualified, Krishna will reveal his actual identity. It is not the Krishna's identity, Krishna's leelas, Krishna's activities, qualities, etc. They are not meant for any ordinary person. in material world also we see, right? People who are celebrities or people who are at a higher position in society, they hide so much of their personal information. They don't reveal to everybody. Even their secretaries also, they may not know so many things about them if they feel that they are not qualified to know about these secrets. So what to speak of then Krishna, if the different prime ministers, presidents of countries, they hide so much their personal secrets, then he's the supreme president.
That's why he gave that Divya Drishti to Arjuna, no? To see
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Arjuna said, I can't see this. You please come back to your normal form. I can't see this anymore.
Yes,
Because
yes.
it's so powerful.
Yes.
He gave that same Divya Drishti to Sanjay also.
Correct.
Sanjay could also see. But
because he told Arjuna that with this your material vision, you will not be able to see that. You need spiritual vision for that. Yeah. So I hope
yeah, it was wonderful. I mean, today's session was a very big eye opener. Of course, I still have some questions, but I don't want to keep you waiting.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay
I
with
think
that.
we can keep the questions
We concern about
for
others.
next time.
Next time.
Yeah, and
26th March.
And I think today's attendance was fantastic. Everybody stayed on till the end, which is so good. So I'm hoping that next time also we keep staying till the end, and we enter also together. Just like consciousness. I think our group also
Collective
has
consciousness.
our group also has collective consciousness. So we should all enter at one time and exit at one time.
Yes.
So thank
See,
you.
when that collective consciousness is engaged for the common goal, common objective,
Correct.
then not only our collective karma can vanish, but our individual karma also can be burnt.
Absolutely, Vinodji. Wonderful. Yes. So thank
It's a
you.
wonderful session today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vinod.
Vinodji.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
I'm always grateful for Vinodji because he never says no. अगर वर्षा जी अगर 3-4 और क्वेश्चन भी पूछेगी तो आई एम श्योर विनोद जी विल कंटिन्यू आंसरिंग बट आई थिंक वी ऑल नीड टू
This is because of the training of my wife. Yes,
this is the sign.
Well, never say
This
no.
is the sign of a great person who always gives all क्या कहते हैं क्रेडिट टू हिज वाइफ. जब आप अपनी वाइफ को क्रेडिट देते हैं तो आप हमेशा ऊपर ही जाएंगे. So I mean ऊपर मतलब
Very true. Thank you very
towards
much for
Krishna.
acknowledging his wife's contribution. His wife is listening, by the way. Thank you.
You're there.
Shri Radhika ji, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you so
here.
much. Thank you, all of you, for giving us the
Yes, thank
opportunity
you.
to share. Thank you so much. Really appreciate all of you for all the good work you're doing. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to
Thank you,
everyone.
thank you.
Sorry, my
Thank you.
camera
Thank you
is
so
not
much.
working
Thank you.
today, but
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
everyone.
to all.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you.